October 19th, 2002. A teenager dials a police tip line in Montgomery County, Maryland, and tells the operator to check a liquor store shooting in Montgomery, Alabama. The operator treats the call like one of 100,000 others that week. Background noise. A crank. The kid hangs up, calls back, and now he's angry. He tells the operator to look at the tarot card. It says, "Call me God." He says people have died because nobody will listen. The operator lets the call go. That teenager is Boyd Malvo, a 17-year-old Jamaican national who has personally helped execute 10 people across the Washington D.C. metro area over the past 20 days. And the thing he just tried to hand law enforcement, a fingerprint sitting in an Alabama evidence room, is the single thread that will unravel the entire case, but nobody picks it up. For 3 weeks, 1,000 officers and 400 FBI agents have been hunting a white box truck that does not exist. The real shooters are operating from the trunk of a sedan. They're trying to negotiate. They're trying to make a deal, and the United States government cannot even get on the phone. So how does the largest manhunt on the East Coast turn into a negotiation that nobody realizes is happening, conducted through press conferences, tarot cards, and a tip line that keeps hanging up on the killer? Here's how. 2 sides. One room that's actually a television screen. On one side, Chief Charles Moose, head of Montgomery County Police in Maryland, the jurisdiction where most of the killings occurred, which made him the lead voice and public face of the largest manhunt on the East Coast. Moose is standing behind a podium in Rockville, delivering live press conferences that are broadcasting nationally. He knows something most police chiefs never have to consider. The shooter is watching. Every sentence Moose speaks is simultaneously a message to 3 million terrified residents and a move in a conversation with a man who can execute anyone standing in the open. On the other side, John Allen Muhammad, a 41-year-old Gulf War veteran, expert marksman, and the architect of the attacks, a man who had lost custody of his 3 children and, according to investigators, originally conceived the sniper spree as cover for murdering his ex-wife. Muhammad is operating from a blue 1990 Chevrolet Caprice, a full-size American sedan with a massive trunk. He and Malvo cut a hole just above the rear license plate, creating a firing port that let one of them shoot from a prone position inside the trunk while the car sat parked in any lot in America. The back seat's sheet metal was removed so the shooter could crawl from the passenger compartment into the trunk without ever stepping outside. A dark glove plugged the hole when they were driving. The rear windows were tinted dark. A ladder was strapped to the roof so it looked like a workman's car. They'd park, fire 1 round through the hole, pull the glove back in, crawl forward, and drive away at normal speed. Every witness reports a white van or truck speeding from the scene. Nobody looks twice at a blue sedan leaving slowly. Now, the demand. A 4-page letter found pinned to a tree outside a Ponderosa steakhouse in Virginia reads, "Call me God," demands $10 million loaded onto a stolen Visa card for unlimited ATM withdrawals worldwide, and warns that failure to comply means 6 more bodies per day, including children. But you're probably wondering how a Gulf War veteran ends up parked in a strip mall lot, shooting strangers through a hole in his trunk. The answer isn't ideology, it isn't money, it's a custody battle. After Muhammad's divorce from Mildred, he lost his children. He kidnapped all 3, fled to Antigua. When they were returned, he began telling people he'd kill his ex-wife. Mildred later described what it was like. He would come into her home at night and stand over her while she slept. She knew he was an expert shot, trained in reconnaissance and demolitions. She knew that if she opened her eyes and he saw the whites, he would kill her. So she lay still and pretended to sleep while her ex-husband stood over her in the dark. Investigators later built a theory that the entire D.C. spree was phase 3 of a plan, create a wave of random killings so chaotic that when Mildred was eventually shot, it would look like just another sniper victim, not a targeted murder. The $10 million, the tarot cards, the rolling terror. All of it, possibly scaffolding around a domestic murder plot. The very first pre-D.C. killing supports this. Kenya Cook, shot in Tacoma in February 2002. She was the aunt of Mildred's best friend, the woman who had encouraged Mildred to seek the divorce. The negotiation may never have been about money. It may have been camouflage. Back in Rockville, Moose doesn't know any of this yet. All he knows is that people are dying and the killer wants to talk. October 7th, a Monday morning. A 13-year-old boy is dropped off at Benjamin Tasker Middle School in Bowie, Maryland. He's walking toward the front entrance when a single round hits him in the chest. He collapses on the sidewalk. He'll survive. But beside the shell casing, investigators find something new. A tarot card, the death card, a card from a fortune-telling deck. Despite its name, it usually symbolizes transformation, not literal death. But Muhammad has scrawled a message across it. On the front, "Call me God." On the back, 3 lines. "For you, Mr. Police. Code, call me God. Do not release to the press." This is the first direct communication from the shooter. For the first time, investigators believe they have a private channel, a way in, a thread they can pull. Then someone inside the task force leaks the tarot card to a television reporter in a newspaper. It runs on every network within hours. Muhammad is watching the coverage from inside the Caprice. His private message, his attempt at a back channel, is now a headline seen by 300 million people. He doesn't retreat, he escalates. The next communication isn't a card. It's a 4-page letter left at the Ponderosa shooting 12 days later. Angrier, more explicit. It demands $10 million and provides a phone number for a payphone outside the restaurant, telling police to call at a specific time. But the letter was sealed in a plastic bag for DNA and fingerprint analysis. By the time investigators open it and read the instructions, the call window has passed, and the phone number is wrong by 1 digit. The leak didn't just break trust, it forced the sniper to raise the price of the conversation. If you're watching this and finding value in how these decisions are broken down, consider subscribing. It helps the channel keep going. Now here's where the pressure starts folding in on itself. The public is terrified. People zigzag across gas station parking lots. Schools across 3 states cancel outdoor recess. Football games move indoors. The Rapid Start System, a joint agency tip management database designed to funnel thousands of leads from the public into searchable records, is processing over 100,000 tips. Most of them are useless white van sightings. And the van is the problem. One early witness near a Silver Spring shooting heard a pop and saw a white box truck speeding away. That single description became a filter. Citizens flooded the tip line with white van reports. Officers set up roadblocks looking for white vans. Meanwhile, the blue Caprice passed through checkpoint after checkpoint. On October 3rd, D.C. police actually stopped the Caprice for a minor traffic infraction, 2 hours before Muhammad shot Pascal Charlot on Georgia Avenue. On October 8th, Baltimore officers investigated the Caprice parked near the Jones Falls Expressway with someone sleeping inside it. They noticed the Washington state license didn't match the New Jersey plates. They let it go. The blue Caprice had become invisible not because it was well hidden, but because everyone was trained to see something else. The white van fixation had become a kind of blindness. The real vehicle was being seen and released over and over again. And Moose is trapped between 3 roles he can't separate. He's a police chief running a multi-agency task force with competing jurisdictions: Montgomery County, Fairfax, the FBI, the Secret Service. He's a crisis communicator trying to calm a region, and he's a hostage negotiator, whether he knows it or not, speaking directly to a killer through live television. After the 13-year-old is shot, Moose steps in front of the cameras and tells parents their children are safe. Schools are increasing security. The investigation is making progress. He means it as reassurance, but Muhammad and Malvo are watching that broadcast live. To them, your children are safe is not comfort. It's a challenge, a public denial of their power. The shootings continue. The next communications grow more hostile. The 4-page Ponderosa letter says your children are not safe anywhere at any time. Moose later admitted that his statement may have triggered the school shooting. "That's something," he said, "that will always be with me." When you are the only voice the other side can hear, comfort and provocation sound exactly the same. The leverage is completely asymmetric. Moose is accountable to millions of viewers, a fractured task force, and a media cycle that punishes silence. Muhammad is accountable to no one. He can strike anywhere within a 100-mile radius. He needs one bullet to reset the entire conversation. Every hour without an arrest is another hour the sniper holds leverage. But the snipers have a problem they don't understand. They keep calling the tip line, and nobody is listening. Malvo phones in at least 3 times. In one call, he tells the operator to look at the tarot card. He says people have died. The operator doesn't escalate. In another, the audio is too unclear to process. The tip line was built for volume, not triage. 100,000 calls, a handful of staffers. The most important calls in the case are being treated as noise. The tip line had already received the Alabama reference from Malvo. It hadn't been acted on. Then Malvo called a priest, Monsignor William Sullivan, and relayed the same information through a payphone outside a Ponderosa restaurant. Sullivan passed it directly to investigators. This time, someone ran it. ATF agent Mike Bouchard, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the federal agency that traces crime guns and investigates firearms trafficking, ran the Alabama lead. The special agent in charge of the Baltimore office. At that liquor store crime scene back in September, a witness had seen the shooter run away and drop something. Not a gun magazine, a printed magazine about firearms, a catalog. And on that catalog was a fingerprint. Bouchard's team had already run the print against criminal databases. Nothing came back. So they run it against the immigration database, HIT. Lee Boyd Malvo, arrested by Border Patrol in Bellingham, Washington in December 2001, released on a $1,500 bond a month later. His arrest record mentions a known associate, John Allen Muhammad. From Muhammad, they pull vehicle records. A blue 1990 Chevrolet Caprice, New Jersey plates, NDA 21Z. On October 22nd, that description goes out to the media and the public. That same day, bus driver Conrad Johnson is shot and killed on his commuter bus in Aspen Hill. He's the last victim. At 11:45 p.m. on October 23rd, a person pulls into a rest stop off I-70 in Frederick County, Maryland. He'd heard the plate number on a radio news report and scribbled it on the back of a timesheet. His headlights hit a dark blue sedan. Jersey plates. He calls 911. He stays on the line for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Another motorist who had heard the same description over radio pulls in behind him. Troopers commandeer a vehicle and use it to block the exit. Maryland State Police officers post at both ends of the rest stop and establish a perimeter. The instructions are clear. Whatever happens, the people in that car do not leave. In the early morning hours of October 24th, a combined team of Maryland State Police, Montgomery County SWAT, and FBI hostage rescue moves in. Muhammad and Malvo are asleep. Malvo was supposed to be acting as lookout. He'd nodded off. They surrender without a struggle. In the trunk, a Bushmaster XM-15, a civilian semi-automatic rifle chambered in .223 caliber, accurate and lethal at 300 meters. Ballistics later link it to 11 of the 14 shootings. The snipers solved their own case. They just couldn't get anyone to listen. Muhammad is tried in Virginia under the state's new anti-terrorism statute, a law that had never been used before and that prosecutors chose specifically because it allowed capital punishment for killings designed to terrorize the public, a framing that transformed a sniper case into a terrorism trial. He's the first person ever prosecuted under it, convicted, sentenced to death. Malvo receives life without parole. Malvo was 17 at the time of the shootings. Under Virginia law, that age made him ineligible for the death penalty. He remains incarcerated. But in prison, Malvo starts talking. He describes what Muhammad told him the $10 million was for: a compound in Canada, 140 homeless black children. They'd be taken in, given a home, and then trained with weapons and sent across America to replicate the D.C. attacks. A utopian society that was actually a child soldier factory. And Malvo believed it. He was 17. He'd been abandoned by his mother, brainwashed through isolation, starvation, video games, and approval-seeking, shaped over 2 years into what one psychologist described as a dissociated killer with no empathy for his victims. Investigators revisit Muhammad's pattern: Kenya Cook in Tacoma, the custody kidnapping, Mildred's terror. The emerging theory hardens. The $10 million was theater. The real endgame was murdering his ex-wife under cover of random terror and being long gone before anyone connected her death to a sniper who'd already collected his money and vanished. Mildred Muhammad survived. She later became an advocate for domestic violence victims and said publicly that she never doubted her ex-husband intended to kill her. The negotiation everyone was trying to win was never real. The demand was a mask. The money was a prop. The whole thing was a custody battle with a body count. 3 things this case proves. First, the white van fixation is confirmation bias at a scale you almost never see. One witness description from a single parking lot became the lens through which 1,000 officers and millions of citizens filtered every piece of information for 3 weeks. The real vehicle was stopped twice, investigated once, released every time. When a wrong assumption gets institutionalized, it doesn't just slow you down. It makes the truth invisible, even when it's sitting right in front of you. Second, the communication failures show what happens when a crisis outgrows its infrastructure. The tip line wasn't sabotaged. It was simply never designed for a moment like this. 100,000 calls with 2 or 3 that mattered. No protocol to elevate them. No system to recognize that the killer calling in his own location was qualitatively different from a retired school teacher reporting a suspicious van. The gap between receiving information and acting on it cost days. Days cost lives. Third, Moose was doing something no training manual had prepared him for. He was negotiating in public, without acknowledgement, with a counterpart who could change the terms of the conversation by pulling a trigger. Every word he chose was a move. Every word he chose was also a risk. The press conference podium was the only channel they had, and it was open to the whole world at once. The case gets taught in law enforcement academies now. The tarot card, the tip line, the van, the caprice passing through checkpoint after checkpoint, all of it. What the curriculum rarely captures is the simplest part. A 17-year-old, trying to end it, called in and told them exactly where to look. 3 times. The system heard him. It just wasn't listening.